What we've got here is a Spyderco Military sprint run in CTS-204p. This just came in. I haven't sharpened it yet. I haven't reprofiled it. I haven't even used it. It hasn't even cut anything yet. I just want to do a quick video on it. I was excited about this sprint run coming out. This is one of the KnifeWorks exclusives. I've been waiting for this, and as well as a few other models. G10 is a dark green. I think that was a good choice from Spyderco. I wanted to do a light comparison to another military, and I decided to go with the S90V military. I thought that made sense just because of how close the two steels are in edge retention. And I noticed some build differences in this this new one, in the 204p military. The texture on the G10 is fine. It may be a little bit more, or it might just be that this military has been used and carried so much. But the texture on the 204p feels good. It feels like what you want it to be. The sharpening job that they did was good. The beveling was good. They did a good job with it. It's very even. It's not overly rough. The hardware, the screws in the 204p military look bigger. Also, there's not a backspacer. In militaries, there's usually what I assume is a G10 backspacer, and on this, it's open construction the whole way through, open pillar construction. So that's an interesting change. They also enlarged the lanyard tube substantially, which I think was a good move. You see that on the Parrot too, and I think it was a good move for the military. The other thing I noticed was, and I don't know, I have to check to see if this is all militaries or if it was just on this S90V military. The stop pin is screwed into place. It's torque screws that hold it in. The 204p military is it's pin construction, so no taking the knife apart. That doesn't bother me. I wasn't going to take the knife apart anyway. The lockup on it is a little bit later than my S90V military, but that's fine. It's, a little under 50%. That's fine with me. I got no problem with that. That works. So I think the build quality is good. Spyderco always gets it right with the jimping. They always get it right with the G10. This was a model that I was looking forward to. So I'll need to reprofile it and sharpen it. I'm not sure if I'm going to reprofile it. I got to check the angle that this is at and go from there, make a decision. I don't know whether or not I'm going to use this knife in testing, but I know that I'm going to carry it, and I know that it's going to be a user. So I'm not setting anything aside. I'm not saving anything. This is going to get sharpened and put in the pocket and carried. So it looks like they did a good job with it, and I was really looking forward to this coming out. So the steel used on this is CTS-204p. It's a steel made by Carpenter. It's in the same family as M390, Bowler's M390, and Crucible's 20CV. Some people would say that it's the same exact steel. I wouldn't say that. I would say it's probably as close as you can get without being the same steel. But 204p, it's said to have a little bit better performance in edge retention. It performs very close to S90V, so it's really up there. It's really a good performer in that aspect. It's also got a very good resistance to corrosion, but then it's got 20% chromium, so you'd expect that. It's a good steel. It's a good solid performer. It's not as difficult to sharpen as S90V. I thought it was a great choice for this knife, for this sprint run, and that's part of the reason that I was looking forward to it. So I measured the edge from the factory, and it was at 35 inclusive, and it was a solid 35 inclusive. But I wanted to go ahead and drop it down a little lower, so I reprofiled it down to 30, and I went ahead and sharpened the knife. And I was playing around in my head with different ideas about what to use to sharpen it, DMT stones or water stones. What I ended up choosing was the stones from the Spyderco Sharp Maker, just for this initial sharpening, and then if I go a different way later, it'll give me a basis comparison. So I started on the coarse diamond. I worked my way down through the stones and finished up with the ultra fine. After the stones for the Spyderco Sharp Maker, I moved on to strops. All the strops that I used were wood strops. I started with a 5 micron. I worked my way down through a series of strops and ended with a 0.5 micron. After that, I went from those initial strops. They were oil-based compounds. After that, I moved on to diamond sprays and started with a 1/4 micron, moved on to a 0.05 micron, and then a 0.025 micron. The edge that came up after the fact was fine. It's a very coarse edge, but still very, very sharp, hair-splitting sharp. I was pleased with it. Like I said, 204p sharpens a little bit easier than the S90V, so that's an advantage for it. I caught this piece of footage after I was done sharpening, and by my count, I split the hair 7 times. So I thought that I would leave the piece of footage in its entirety, just see if I could put it in and let it sit there. Getting a hair to whittle 7 times over the same piece of hair, the same length of hair, is it's difficult to do. So, like I said, in the end, I was pleased with this sharpening, and I'm pleased with this this sprint run. The Military is a great model, and it's one that I carry very, very often. So I was glad when they decided to put it out in CTS-204p.